Welcome to the EQ Video Tip. I'm your host, Eric Forsetter. It's great to have you back. Again, we have a double feature today and two great episodes. Let's jump into the tips and goals of this week's EQ Video Tip. Welcome back. As I mentioned, we have a great double feature today, and it's brought to us by Justin Bariso of Inc.com. And Justin's going to give us some great research about things that emotionally intelligent people do. Let's jump into some of his tips. Tip number one, they think about feelings, and not just their own. Emotionally intelligent people think about a person's thoughts, their words, and of course their actions. They do this by observing and sharing their conclusions after reflecting about it over time. This enables them to see what's happening below the surface and, so to speak, identify the reasons for people's behavior. Try to think about people's feelings as you're trying to engage your EQ to the next level. Tip number two, they pause. Just taking that extra second there makes a difference, especially in an emotionally charged situation. Emotionally intelligent people take a moment to pause before they blurt something out or make a decision that's impulsive that they're going to regret. In short, their goal is not to make a permanent decision without thinking it through. Pause before you make a decision. It will increase your EQ. Tip number three, they learn from their emotional hijacking. The truth of the matter is none of us, no matter how great of an EQ you have, can control your emotional outbursts. I know myself, there have been times where I've said something and said, oh my God, how did I blurt that out, or what was I thinking? And it happens to all of us, even those with the best EQ out there. What's important though is when you make those mistakes, how to learn from them and to understand and to be vulnerable from them, but then not make them again. And people with high EQ learn from their emotional mistakes and then figure out ways to identify that behavior, what triggers it, and then of course cultivate habits that will prevent them from doing that again. Our next tip, they are humble and accept humility. Many people today view humility as a weakness, but those with emotional intelligence understand that there's a value to being humble and having humility, and they're quick to accept criticism as well as use it to grow. And they realize that being humble doesn't mean that you lack self-confidence. In fact, it's the opposite. It doesn't mean you don't stand up for your opinions either. Rather, it involves recognizing you don't know everything and you're willing to learn from others. Our last tip, they show empathy. People with emotional intelligence, instead of labeling some other person, work hard to see and value what other people are going through. They take a moment to listen and not pass judgment. Instead, they listen to understand, and this leads to a deeper connection and a deeper understanding of what someone's going through. In summary, they empathize. That concludes this week's EQ Video Tip. We'll follow up next week with more tips from this same amazing article from Inc.com. For now, here are some of the tips that we covered, as well as a few others. So that concludes our EQ Video Tip for today. Try incorporating some of these tips into your daily routine. But remember, use what works best for you and personalize it for yourself. Thank you always to our great research team for providing us with some great tips today. As always on EQ Video Tip, we want to end with gratitude. So thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. Here are some resources that you can use if you want more information on EQ going forward. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you.